In today's lesson, 3-6, distance on the coordinate plane, we are combining the two things that we learned last. We are going to combine the Pythagorean Theorem with the coordinate plane. And so we just worked really hard on the coordinate plane, so I don't think we need to review that today because we did just review it yesterday. But we are going to review the Pythagorean Theorem because we haven't done that in a few weeks. Does anybody remember the formula for Pythagorean Theorem? So the Pythagorean Theorem is a formula that we use when we're dealing with right triangles, and it helps us to find the sides of the triangle. So remember, my two legs, the pieces that are touching the right angle are called legs, and they're called side A and side B. And then this side over here across from the right angle is called the hypotenuse. And what letter do we use for hypotenuse? Anybody remember? C. Remember ABC? Okay, so there's a formula for Pythagorean Theorem. What is it?
A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
Awesome! That is correct. She wins the Dunkin' Donuts award. Yes, you may close the door. Okay, so A squared plus B squared equals C squared is our fantastic, wonderful formula that we're going to use for Pythagorean Theorem. And today, what they're giving us is 2 points on a coordinate plane, and they want us to find the distance between those 2 points. But sometimes when they give us 2 points on the coordinate plane, they're in line with each other like this, and you can literally just count how far it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. So these 2 points are 4 units apart, right? Distance equals 4 units here, because we could just count because they're in a straight line. But today, they're going to give us points that are not in a straight line. And so we are going to end up, this is so cool, we are going to end up drawing a right triangle to connect the points, and then use that information with the Pythagorean Theorem formula to find out how far those points are apart, to find the distance. Okay, so in the book they give us this graph, and they just gave us quadrant 1 of the graph, and they said, here are these 2 points. Please find the distance between them. So we notice that these points are not in a straight line, so I can't just count the little graph squares and find the distance. This time I have to do something else. I'm going to think outside the box. I'm going to use a right triangle to help me answer this question. And so Cameron said, I think we should put a dot right here to help us make a right triangle and connect the dots. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So do this on your paper, Bella. Okay, put a dot right below the 5, 4, and just to the right of the 1, 2. And then we're going to connect all the dots. Oops, pretend like that's straight. Okay? Now that I've connected the dots, I know, because this is graph paper, or a coordinate plane, I know that that's a right angle right there. So I have a right triangle, I have an A, a B, and a C, and I can plug that into my formula to find the distance. Okay. Okay. So, how many squares is my A? Count the little squares right now on your graph and tell me how long it is for A. Right here. How long is this?
Oh, I'm just counting.
B.
2.
2. Good. So we just counted the squares and we said side A is 4 squares long and side B is 2 squares long. Now we have our A and our B, which we can plug into our formula to find out what C equals. So I'm going to say 4 squared plus 2 squared equals C squared. And the C is the answer. That's what I need. So this works out perfectly. So what is 4 squared?
16.
Yes. What is 2 squared?
4.
4. What is 16 plus 4?
20.
Good. Okay, write this down. Okay, so Cameron was walking us through how to finish solving the problem. She said we need to put the radical sign to get rid of the squared on the C. And whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other, which is awesome, fantastic. So now Bella helped us with the square root of 20, which is 4.5 if we round to the nearest 10. So the distance between those 2 points is 4.5. Checking up on me. Okay, I forgot to record. So here's our next 2 points, and we already made our dot and connected the dots to make a right triangle. And we said on this one we could put our dot here or here. Either one will make a right triangle, and either one will get you the same answer. But we made our dots connect at the bottom of the screen. So I'm going to label my sides again, A and B. I want you to label yours too, and C. And how many squares long is side A? Okay, I forgot to record again, but we said side A is 4 squares long, side B is 4 squares long, and then we put that into our Pythagorean Theorem formula. 4 squared plus 4 squared equals C squared. And Cameron's going to walk us through the rest. Go ahead, Cameron.
Okay, so 4 squared plus 4 squared is 16.
That's right.
And then 4 squared again is 16.
Yep.
And then 16 plus 16.
Bella, keep your head up. Okay. All right, so we got 16 plus 16, and she's finding out how much that is right now.
Is 32.
That's right. And
So now you do 32 equals C squared.
yep,
Now you do the radical sign over both of them.
good.
And cross out the 2, which is C squared.
That's right.
And then 32 squared is...
Not 32 squared, but the square root of 32.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's bigger. Okay, so, well, we'll actually go ahead and change it. Once we took the square root of 32, we rounded to 5.7. So the distance between those 2 points is 5.7 squares, or 5.7 units. So for number 7, this time they just give us these 2 coordinates, and they say, what is the distance between these 2 coordinates? I don't know. How am I supposed to find the distance between these 2 points? What do you think I can do? So the winner is draw a graph. That's going to help us figure out the distance between these 2 points. So I drew my graph. Now I'm going to plot the points. So I have 1 and 5. And I'm going to label that because we always label our points when we're plotting points. And I have 3 and 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. Now, I'm going to put a point down to make a right triangle. So I'm going to come straight down from my 1 and 5 point, straight over from my 3 and 1 point. I'm going to put my point right there. Again, you could put your point on this side too if you wanted. Either way you draw the triangle, you're going to get the same answer. But I'm going to go this way and connect your dots. Okay, and then label your A side and your B side and your C side. So how many squares long is side A?
Side A is I got this.
Okay, so side A is 4 squares, side B is 2 squares, and we're going to plug it in. What will my formula say?
A squared or 4 squared plus 2 squared.
That's right.
4
Equals,
squared is 16.
what's 2 squared?
2 squared is 4. The answer would be
16 plus 4 is how much?
20.
20.
So the answer, all in all, after you make that number rationated, is 4.5.
Yes, because we had this same problem up here. And there's the answer. It was 4.5.
It makes me feel smart, though,
Yes,
the fact that I said fraction.
because you already know the answer. Okay, so C equals 4.5 units, or 4.5 squares long. All right, and that's all for today so far.
Bella.
Okay, which quadrant is point L in?
Quadrant 4.
Yes.
I was going to say that.
So the first few are very easy. What point is in quadrant 3?
Bella. I want to do it.
Okay, you do the next one, Cameron. What quadrant is K in?
The second quadrant.
Yes.
Can I do the next one again?
Yes.
Or is it 2?
What is in quadrant 2?
Hold on, I have to look. Oh my God. Alright.
Yes. Okay, so now I'm going to skip ahead because this is just, if you plot this point, what quadrant would it be in? 5, 1 would be in quadrant 1. But I'm going to skip ahead because Tiffany found some harder problems. I want to show you how to do it.
79 or 60.
You got all the way up there already, Tiffany?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So it's not as hard as it sounds.
Why did you look like that?
Well, mine, I'll get some of the ones like you have too. Don't worry. But I want to show you how to do this. So if it says x is greater than 0, that means x is a positive number. Okay? But y equals 0, so that means I'm not moving up or down. So which axis am I on if I just move to the right?
The X.
The x-axis. Good, Bella. You're not paying attention.
Okay,
This-
now you're where I am.
Okay, good. So this one says x is greater than 0. Is that positive or negative?
Negative.
X is greater than 0.
Positive.
Positive number. That means I move to the right on my graph. And y is greater than 0. Is that positive or negative? It's positive, so I would go up. So if I moved right and went up, which quadrant am I in? Quadrant 1. Okay, these are very tricky. Did I tell you to go all the way to 100? No, 65. See, you're doing the harder ones, Tiffany. You didn't have to do these in your assignment today. No. Okay, so this one says x is less than 0. That means I moved left. And y is greater than 0. I moved up. If I move left and up, which quadrant am I in?
Left up. No, wait. Quadrant A2.
Yes, good. Quadrant 2. Okay, that's all for today.